What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Yamcast. This is episode 31. The Yamcast is now entering its 30s and its middle age almost. It's starting to have questions about where its life is going, its career decisions, all that kind of good stuff.
When's it going to buy a V4?
When's it going to buy a V4? When's it time for it to go to the Ducati dealership and drop that cash? Today, we are talking about Harley-Davidson. Who else, Spite?
We've got Harley on the docket. We got Bimota and we got Triumph.
Ooh, it's pretty good. And then, as usual, we were taking call-ins from our sweet boys on our Discord, asking them to call us in and then answering their questions. And then we're going to be doing a fun little meme contest at the end. It's going to be KTM versus BMW. Stick around. It's going to be a good one. Let's get into it. Alrighty, Spite, lead us off with the first bit of news. We're back to Yamcast of days past, talking about Harley-Davidson.
Fertile ground as always. Harley-Davidson. This time they're actually not stepping on a rake.
Oh.
So the news here is that the 1250 Custom has joined the Pan America in the next year lineup. So this is actually a bike that I'm interested in for one reason and one reason alone. And that's because it's basically the new V-Rod. That's kind of what people have been saying about it, that it's this new performance muscle cruiser putting down a lot of power. It's using the Rev Max engine, which is their new engine that they put in the Pan America. And they were going to put it in the Bronx, but rip the Bronx. And
now I'm seeing a big radiator. It's liquid cooled, isn't it?
Yes.
Nice.
All of the new Harleys, all these new modern ones are all liquid cooled now.
That's great. This is a cool looking bike, I gotta say. This 1250, based on this image I'm seeing here, it's a really sweet looking bike. It kind of looks like the Fat Bob, is that right?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of the Fat Bob about it. It's also got a lot of the Scout about it with this big front cruiser tire.
Yeah.
I'm also clocking just a single disc up front, which
God, bummer.
That
for a bike that's probably going to retail way above 20, that's not good.
This is a little tough. There are some really interesting things the more you look at it. Like, look at the swing arm with just this tube steel going on. That's kind of neat. This is also probably just a rendering,
it's probably not the final production. Upside down forks, not bad.
It's not going to have any of the fancy brakes. This is just going to have the Harley-Davidson brakes on there, which is going to be, their stock brakes are fine. They work fine. Mm-hmm. But for a bike that's theoretically going to be fast, a single disc up front sucks.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. It looks like the belt is on the right side of the motorcycle this time. So
they've swapped the belt location.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's a belt or a chain. I can't quite see through the bike there. But that could be inspiring to see that they're now actually putting things on the right side of motorcycles. And I can't quite see the clamshells, but from what I'm looking at, they look very much like the Sportster. Mm-hmm. They look. I'm seeing the indicators on either side of the bike because
it's the same ones that are using it forever.
Man.
Now, Tube here on chat said something interesting. He says they have to make a new Sportster, though. It's on its last year bet. So I do think that Sportster is probably on its way out, which is crazy.
Yeah, so we covered a while ago the Sportster's being pulled out of India, and they're pulling it out. Harley-Davidson itself is pulling out of India. They just hit the eject button there, and they're like, nope, we're done. And then they're pulling the Sportster out of Europe and Britain and the EU.
Yeah, they couldn't meet the emissions over there. No way.
It's getting crushed. So I've seen some drawings kind of based on this bike, which is why I didn't really believe them. They looked a lot like this, but they had smaller versions of the Rev Max motor in them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of inspiring to see, but again, I don't believe it because they look very similar to this.
Yeah. It's a bummer that they aren't going to make the Bronx because, as people will see later in the week, we test rode a Buell today. We've test rode an XB9SX, and that handled beautifully. And can you imagine a Buell with this new 1250 liquid-cooled engine? That would be awesome. That's what the Bronx basically was going to be.
Yeah. I mean, if the world in which Buell had worked with Indian
Yeah.
that would have been an amazing motorcycle because Harley has stuck by the Sportster motor, and props to them for that. But they just they're really not willing to let go.
Yeah.
And I get it because the Sportster is really the classic motorcycle of all of them. It's the most classic.
Yeah.
But it's a bad motor.
Yeah.
There's things that...
It's an old motor. That's the thing. It's just we've evolved past it.
Mm-hmm. And they're saying here that once the pandemic began, they quietly removed the Street Fighter, which everybody saw.
Yeah.
Everybody saw that. And then they're saying that this was always intended to be released as one of the 3 new models.
Yeah.
But nobody's been given any information about it. You know, they know it's this new Rev Max. They're saying 145 brake horsepower, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty solid number, and 90 foot-pounds of torque. The question is, can they execute kind of a performance cruiser? They need a real performance cruiser.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's tough. I look at the setup on this bike. I see a big tubular frame. I see a huge wide front tire. I see a rear tire that looks about the same size, kind of like the Scout. I see a single disc up front. I see possibly a not so great front suspension.
It looks like the Scorchers are on there too.
Yeah, they probably have some lifetime deal with those Scorchers they put on every single freaking bike that they make. But I find it difficult to believe Harley's going to pull off some really well-handling, cool cruiser. But maybe they'll pull some magic, and it'll kind of be like the FTR, where you're like, how's this bike going to be? And then people really love it. I don't know. We'll see. What's this bike called? Is it just going to be called a 1250 Custom? Is that what it is?
I don't think they have a full name for it yet. Okay. Right now, the idea is 1250 Custom, but I don't think they can sell that necessarily.
Yeah, no. They need to give it a name.
Yeah, and I like the look of it, save for the big front tire.
Yeah. I wish they had put in a more normal setup on it, but hey, whatever.
They gotta make these guys look macho somehow.
Yeah. It looks cool. I'll give them that. It's a cool looking bike. I like the pipe setup. It's sort of like a high pipe flat trackery kind of thing going on.
Which is hysterical on a bike that's this squatted.
Yeah, with forward controls.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hopeful but not optimistic.
Yeah.
And I saw A. Riley had said that they use Brembos on all their performance models. The only one that I saw with Brembos on the dealership floor at the Harley that I went to was the Bronx, and that's a $30,000 motorcycle.
You mean the Livewire, right?
The Livewire, yeah.
I was like, you saw a Bronx there?
The Livewire had the Brembos on it, and they had dual discs up front. It basically looked like the R1 suspension.
Yeah.
It was pretty well set up, and then all of the other ones were just packing the standard HD brakes. I'm pretty sure the Fat Bob even does too.
I could see that.
Which is kind of a shame. So they really need to let the Harley stuff die and just start using real components like Nissan brakes, Brembo brakes.
Yeah,
all that
get
stuff.
a brake from a 1999 SB650, which apparently is an upgrade on the Sportster. Just do that.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm sure there's a plenty of part bin ones out there.
Again, we've talked about this so many times, but just to wrap it up here on Harley, I think they're just going to miss the mark so much by not making the Bronx. The Bronx was their way out. Everyone was excited about it. Everyone was willing to buy into it and to help Harley get back on their feet in a way, but it's like they just keep stepping on rakes, so what are you going to do?
It's
gonna do?
Hard to watch, man. As an HD simp, it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
But something kind of cool as a palate cleanser, we have this new Bimota has been spotted, and it looks goofy as all fuck.
I am just flabbergasted by Bimota just making all these new bikes. What is going on? How are they doing this? Harley can barely make 3 new motorcycles. Looks like Bimota has a new one every other month.
And it seems like they're all built on Kawasaki's. So this one is based on the Ninja 1000 SX. And this is the Bimota KB4.
Okay.
Which is, again, real goofy looking. Like, the front end is super slammed. And
yeah, so what's going on with this? I'm trying to see the front end suspension. It looks like it's covered up or something like that.
Yeah, so this is...
Is this the old school one?
Yeah, this is the KB1.
Okay.
This is it. Like, these are just brake tests, so I guess it's diving really hard.
Yeah, I think he's diving it really hard under braking.
This
is the KB4 they want to make. So it has a more normal suspension setup, not the crazy double swing arm thing that Bimota normally does, right?
that probably will make this slightly more acquirable for a normal human being.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the Bimota Tezzy H2 is like a $60,000, $70,000 motorcycle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. But it's got a neat, like, old school bubble windscreen going on.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like it on a cafe racer. I haven't really seen it on a sport bike in a while. Because it's got the single round headlight.
Yeah,
which
kind of looks like a MV Agusta Super Veloce type of thing.
Yeah, and then they have this like super blurred out one, like it's an OnlyFans ad. But yeah, it's cool to see that Tezzy's just doing goofy ass stuff like all this. I mean, what is the point? Shits and giggles, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't really know what the strategy is for Bimota in the future. I guess they're trying to make more motorcycles to sell more people, obviously. But so they're doing this like limited edition retro sport bike thing. It could be interesting. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to understand what this bike would be. I mean, if it's like a super sport bike type of thing, but it's using a Ninja 1000 SX engine, that's kind of like an old school 1000cc. It's not going to make a ton of peak power. So what's it trying to be, right?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of trying to be a status symbol almost.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, we've got enough of those, man.
Yeah, I think we do.
They're saying that the MV Agusta Super Veloce is currently priced at 17,000 pounds, almost 18,000, which they're saying is the closest rival to this bike.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about it. It kind of looks like a Super Veloce with the exposed frame in the front, the red and the single round headlight, all that, you know.
I mean, it's interesting that they just have, you know, they're of all the motorcycle manufacturers out there, Bimota is the one that just seems completely unfazed by everything that happens around them.
Yeah,
they just, no matter what they do, they're like, the R6 has been canceled, and they're like, well, whatever, who gives a shit? We're gonna make ourselves a goofy ass H2.
They're just gonna they're like, oh, 600s are selling. We're gonna make a retro sport bike based on a Ninja 1000. You're like, okay. They're like, is anyone gonna buy that? They're like, doesn't matter.
we're gonna make it.
We just make stuff.
Which that's kind of a free spirit, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's, I just really don't understand. I don't. It's cool looking, sure, but...
Yeah, I don't know who the potential buyer is for this bike. I guess someone who wants, like, 90s sport bike look. I don't, you know, it's so niche. It's so niche.
Have you ever seen a Bimota in person?
No, I haven't.
I think I've only seen them at shows. Like, I've seen, like, one maybe at a show.
I've never seen one in the street.
And
they're exceedingly rare.
Yeah.
Especially here.
I don't... It's just... This is a part of motorcycling I don't really see very often because it's these really weird one-off builds.
Yeah. I feel like guys who own Bimotas are very similar to guys who own MV Agustas and limited edition Ducatis and that kind of stuff. They just have this very refined sort of little esoteric taste for bikes, and that's what they're, I guess, looking for.
And a very deep pocketbook.
Very deep pocketbook. Servicing a Bimota probably makes your eyes water. You know,
although it's just a Ninja 1000 engine in it.
That's true, but guarantee it's got some bespoke stuff going on around it. You know what I mean? Like. But yeah, maybe that's the play there where they're like, oh, we're gonna package you a cool Italian bike, but with the underpinnings of a very reliable motorcycle, right?
And it's the 1000 SX, which is the sport touring bike, so it's really not that high strung.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of what happens in the car world, where like BMW and Toyota partner up to make like a new Supra, you know, or Toyota and Subaru partner up to make the BRZ or the FRS. It's like just two companies coming together and being like, well, you make the engine, we'll make this, and we'll try to sell it. You know, motorcycle companies have historically never done that. Very infrequently do you see engines swapping over into frames and stuff like that. So I guess that's the strategy there.
Yeah, it's just a kind of a cool thing to see. They're just the only ones that are doing really bizarre stuff.
Yeah.
So, just kind of an odd piece of news, I suppose.
And what's our final piece of news for today?
Our final piece of news is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Triumph has introduced certified pre-owned as an option in the U.S., and that's on a manufacturer level, so not dealerships, but Triumph themselves are now offering certified pre-owned.
Do you think my race bike can be CPO? I just roll up and I'm like, it's certified, baby.
It works.
It works. They turn it on. They're like, why does it sound like it's going to die? I'm like, just give it a minute, all right? You made it. Give it a second. You know it needs to warm up.
So this is actually kind of neat because as they say here in the top line, car companies do this all the time.
Oh, yeah. This is Porsche's bread and butter, man. You get a CPO Porsche, baby.
And they're saying that Harley tried it at one point with one of their various failed programs, which they all name and then they fail.
It just names all the failed programs.
Yeah, so Harley came close with their Reman program, later called Long Block.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Reman?
Long Block. They had Rewire, and they had what's the other one? New Roads.
Oh my God.
They name all of their little programs, and all of them fail.
Yeah.
They get super duper excited about it, and then they hit the first roadblock, and they're like, oh, never mind.
No, this isn't working. Back to cruisers.
But so this is the statement right here, which is quite a beefy one.
Yeah. You want to open that up a little bigger, and I'll read it off in my best posh British voice. I won't try to do the accent, but let's see here. So Triumph says, we are proud to offer a certified pre-owned program ensuring that customers joining the Triumph family with a pre-owned motorcycle are given the same great product experience and factory-backed assurance as someone buying a brand new Triumph, said Rod Lupasnack, Triumph's North America's general manager. Weird name. The program also offers a great benefit to new bike buyers by protecting the residual value of their brand new Triumph when they're ready to sell or trade in for a new bike. And for our dealers, they're now able to list their certified pre-owned motorcycle inventory on our new website for national visibility. That last piece is really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. How has no one thought of this before for motorcycles?
It
honestly makes so much sense.
Yeah, it really does. In a world where motorcycles are kind of you pick one up for a season
and you sell
it. I mean, this is again, you can actually give it to a dealership and not get completely just cattled by it.
Yeah.
You don't have to take it up the butt from a dealership anymore.
Because the used bike market is like the goddamn Wild West. Mm-hmm. You know, it's insane.
You don't know what you're going to get. And this gives people more reason to buy a used bike from a dealership.
Yes.
Especially because everybody I know who's given a Triumph back has had some a transmission problem. Like one street triple had a problem popping out of second gear. One of them was a street twin, I think, where the entire transmission exploded. And then one was a Rocket 3 that the transmission just kind of didn't work. So, I'm still not sure about a used Triumph, but
yeah.
Hey, I mean, this is...
Hey, I bought my 675R used, my race bike.
And you absolutely beat the piss out of it.
It's still going. It's still ticking. I've crashed it once. It's still going strong.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think... So they're saying it preserves value on motorcycles. What do you think that it actually means when you when you're upgrading your Triumph for a new one and you want to give it back to a dealership? What do you think it actually... In the real world, dollar value, what do you think that adds to your Triumph?
Do you mean like the value of the bike itself? Or
yeah.
I think this succeeds more on the fact of like Triumph now has a system to keep you in the Triumph family, right? Because that's an issue I think they've had for a while is Triumph, unlike Yamaha, unlike KTM does a great job at this, they don't have a good, nice progression. They just have like the street triple or like adventure bikes or classic bikes. But with this Trident and now the street triple, and maybe if they come out with like something bigger and faster and better, they'll have a system in place, especially with the CPO stuff, to keep people in the Triumph family and keep them as long-term customers. Because right now, I know a lot of guys started on a Yamaha, go to a Triumph, then try something else. There's not much incentive to stay in the Triumph family. So I think that's what they're trying to do with this. And maybe they'll have incentives for you to, bring in your Triumph and, trade up to a new Triumph and keep it in the family type of thing, right? So maybe that's the way they'll add value.
They're saying here that the CPO inventory is controlled by several eligibility requirements, including a max age of 5 years, a max mileage of 25,000, and an accident-free history. No race bikes allowed.
Damn it! I'll just put I'll put the normal plastics back on.
Triumph accessory parts.
It'd be so funny to put all like the normal stuff on my bike back on. It's all safety wire and shit. I'm like, never raced. Hold on. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I bet just the undertaking to put things back onto that motorcycle.
Yeah, someone looks, they're like, is this is this coolant hose heat wrapped? I'm like, no. Don't worry about it.
They take it off and they're like, this was definitely running up against the exhaust, wasn't it?
They're like, these are Samco hoses. You're a degenerate. Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, so they're saying Triumph accessory parts are allowed, but no other modifications are permitted for entry into the CPO inventory. Now, that's a big one.
That's a huge one. That's tough to do also.
That's really hard to do.
Nobody keeps their bike that stock.
No, I can't think of a single motorcycle that I've only stuck with the genuine factory parts.
Your Sumo.
No, I've got Rottweiler mirrors on there.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Do you think that would disqualify you? Aftermarket mirrors?
Yeah. They're
That's
saying
lame as hell.
No aftermarket parts.
That's super lame.
That means you have to, that is a good thing for all the hoarders out there like me.
Yeah, keep all the stock parts, yeah.
I mean, but
it's annoying as fuck. But
could you imagine having to put all that crap back on?
No. It's why when you sell the bike, you usually sell with all of it on, and you give them the box with the rest of it, and you're like, if you want to put it back on, you go crazy. I'm not doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, I just have box of things.
Yeah.
But that kind of sucks because I don't think I know anybody who just sticks in the. You have to be like premium dad mode to stay in the actual factory catalog.
You have to be an internal Hayabusa man to do that. You can't just be a regular motorcycle rider.
Because I'm thinking in my brain about the Supermoto catalog, which I have longingly thumbed through.
Yeah. I imagine you on your bed, like feet kind of flapping in the air, just kind of flipping through the KTM power parts like a schoolgirl at night on like a magazine.
The street exhaust, which is not very loud, just as hot as the old one, from Acura, is $1,200.
Yeah,
that's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, that's a little bit more than a tenth of the bike.
Yeah,
almost. That sucks. That's why I got the Aero for way less.
Yep.
Nobody is going to do this.
No. Well, what's interesting, too, is this Yamcast is going to come out after a video that's going live a couple days before about me talking about the pitfalls and hurdles about buying a used motorcycle. And it's funny, the criteria I said in that video, I said, try to find a bike that's about 5 years old and has less than 20,000 miles. So it's funny how like I came up with like a sort of certified pre-owned criteria for myself when it comes to buying used bikes that they're now using too. And it makes sense. You don't want to get a bike that's 12 years old and has 50,000 miles if you don't have to, unless you're really partial to it. But honestly, this modification bit at the end here, I think is going to trade off. You're going to put off probably like 60% of buyer or potential sellers at this point.
Because then you're just going to be like, well, I know I can get money for it used.
Yeah,
just like on Craigslist.
Absolutely. What is the incentive to sell to the dealership with these kind of draconian rules?
None. Like
basically, unless they give you an exceptional rate on the new bike you're buying, there's no reason to trade it in for the CPO program, right? I mean, it's so tough to get in there.
Or unless they give you a lot of money for the bike, which I don't think they're going to do.
They're trying to cut a profit.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole name of the game of used bikes is buy low as fuck, sell high as fuck. They cut nice margins on used bikes. I remember I was talking to a power sports guy one time, and he was telling me they make way more money on used bikes than new bikes.
So some real world numbers here. I sold my VFR for I think $5,500, and I went back to the Kyle store and I saw it on the showroom floor for $9,500.
Yeah.
A 2014 VFR.
Which again, someone's gonna come in there and be like, I'm gonna negotiate, get a good deal. They're like, oh yeah, you'll walk out of the door with it for $85,000. They don't give a shit. They just made $3,000 on it.
Yeah. That's insane. It has just unadjustable suspension.
Yeah.
I put a quick shifter on it.
It's a 2014.
It's a 2014.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
The only thing that helps is that it has kind of low mileage.
Yeah.
It's got under 10,000. So, but still, I'm not in the mood for a certified pre-owned bike right now, but I'm not sure about it.
I think they're going to have trouble racking up CPO inventory with these rules, but once they do, I don't think they're going to have any problem selling the CPO bikes.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to be really easy because it's going to be just one, like, it's not, every dealer's like, we have our, 48-point inspection. But no, this is Triumph Motorcycles certified pre-owned.
Yeah.
That you just put that sticker on a bike, it'll sell.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the discount has to be there to get a CPO. But I also feel like Triumph's whole game with this too is like they might get someone coming through the door for a CPO bike and they're like, hey, we got good deals on these new bikes too. You sure you want a used bike? We'll get you a new bike. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you that's part of the plan too.
It's only like $1,000 more, bud. You could finance it today.
Exactly, yeah. I'm serious. That's probably their game plan too. They're just like, we can get massive foot traffic just by having these CPO bikes in there. So it's a great program for them. Yeah.
I wonder how long it would take for your average Triumph dealership, like in America, to get actual certified pre-owned.
Some inventory?
Yeah.
I'd say at least 6 months because you think about it, you got to market this program, you got to get people out there, you got to find all the bikes that meet this criteria, you got to weed through the ones that don't, right? Because, I see here that no race bikes are allowed, but I guarantee you someone else is going to take their ratty street triple or something and be like, can this be CPO? And be like, no, I can't.
I feel like, wait, so it's 2020. When did the Daytona die?
2018.
So you could still get a CPO Daytona if you wanted.
You could, yeah. Most Daytonas live very hard lives, though.
But hey, you could go get one if you wanted Daytona 4.0 for the street.
That's true. Yeah, if I want to hate myself. No, I've told you before. I think this is last Daytona. Daytona 3 is last Daytona. I hope it keeps going strong. It's running great, but once it dies, I'm done.
Gixxer 600.
Gixxer 600. It's that or a 636. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap up the news for this week. We're now going to move on to the call-in portion of our podcast. Stay tuned. All right, everyone, welcome to the call-in portion of our podcast. If you want the chance to call us in and ask us questions and all of that, feel free to join our Discord server down below on yammienoob.co. We do these live on the air, and people call us in and we answer those questions. So, without further ado, let the number fly.
Number is up in Discord for you boys.
I don't know if Germinate 2 Boy is going to call today. I haven't seen him as active lately. He might not call.
He might be sleepy tonight.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's like 2 a.m. there or something.
He also can't participate, or he can't win this week's
That's true, yeah.
contest. So he's probably like, I'm just going to tap out. I'm going to think my strategy up for the next time I'm available.
Well, I think for him, the Kawasaki won the whole game, so he's probably very pleased. Hey there, Jake. You're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
It's going all right. How are y'all doing?
Good. What can we do for you?
Got a question for Spite here. What's it going to take for you to actually get a Sportster?
Oh, man.
Putting you on the spot.
To be honest, somebody's going to have to give me one for free, honestly, at this point. I have kind of lost interest in the idea of purchasing one because that's not where my interests lie on the road anymore, really. I got a lot of my Sportster jollies out by wrenching on this one, and I would prefer to just have my Sumo and an off-road bike because those are the things that I enjoy doing. I like a light bike that's torquey and quick, and I want to play in the dirt. And I can't really do either of those things with a Sporty. So I knew it's just really, it sucks because I still love the bike. I love it a lot, but it's just not my thing right now, you know?
Okay, so you're saying you kind of aren't a Harley simp anymore.
No, don't get me wrong. I would love nothing more than for the Pan America to come out and have it be an amazing bike, have this custom 1250 come out, have it be an amazing bike, shut up all the haters online. I just don't see that really happening. And I see Harley moving away from the Sportster a lot, and it just kind of becoming a weird relic that they don't service anymore, you know, which kind of sucks. I've been watching the Sportster line just get smaller and smaller and smaller every year, and its time is done, which sucks.
I mean, you can build a Sportster like from the ground up using entirely non-Harley parts. So I think like support will still be there. Why don't you just get like a Sportster and turn it into a dual Sportster?
Because it's 580 pounds.
Get a rigid mount one, make it like 450 pounds, take it off road.
Yeah, be a real man, Spite. Mm-hmm. Get a dual Sportster. Put a 21 on it, yeet it off-road like they used to back in the day. Not like we've made progress and we know what dirt bike's supposed to be like now.
Yeah, I would really love to make a Scrambler Sportster at one point.
That would be neat, yeah.
I don't have the room in my garage nor the pocketbook to really make a Sportster the way I would like to, and it's probably going to be gone by the time I'm in a place to do it, you know?
I get the sneaking suspicion that you will own one day because life is quite long, and you have a very big passion for motorcycles. It's not going to go away anytime soon, and you've got at least 30 more years of motorcycling in you, so a Sportster will come, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's going to be until fuel-injected one gets to the price that the carbureted rigid mounts are now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I could
fuel-injected one for like two Gs.
If I could get that, sure, why not? Because they're really simple motorcycles to work on. That's one of the things that I learned by doing the 1275 swap. Is it's not a complicated motor. It's a very simple motorcycle, but it's just it's not
pretty much everything routine you can do in like 30 minutes, 6 gear speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This guy knows his Harleys. Yeah.
Yep.
I have one.
Yeah, I figured. All right, man. Thanks for calling. Hope Spite answered your question good. We're going to open up the lines to other folks. Appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.
All right, later.
I see unknown. That's got to be German A2 boy.
Probably, yeah. Hey there, Carlin. You're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Going great.
What can I do for you?
I need your opinion on the KLX 300 SM.
Ooh, okay. I think we talked about that on another Yamcast. We're happy to go over it again. I'm very excited about the bike. I think it's going to be really, really interesting, and I'm very curious to ride one. Mostly because there hasn't been a new factory supermoto in a long time. Most of them are based on really old dual sport platforms, and this is sort of a brand new bike, and I'm curious to see it. I think if they can get the price right, the weight right, and the power right, it could be a super killer beginner bike. Spike, what do you think?
Right now, from what I know, it's going to be putting down like 30-ish horsepower, which is fine.
Good, yeah.
It's
better than a Gixxer 250.
Anything's better than a Gixxer 250.
A mobility scooter is better.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be they said it was lighter than the KLX, or not the KLX, the CRFs.
Yeah.
Which is not hard.
No.
But it's not going to be WR weight.
No.
But it's fuel injected. It's dirt cheap. They were like $5,500 in the plain green.
I'll tell you this: between $5,500 like Ninja 400 or R3 and a KLX 300, I take the KLX any day of the week.
Any day, absolutely.
Any day. You can learn all your baby nooners on it, take it off road, do whatever. Like, that's such a fun bike. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a supermoto you can put, my Shinkos on that I have on the DRZ.
Yeah.
And just beat the ever-loving snot out of that bike and not be worried about it because there's not really anything on there to hurt.
Yeah.
Unlike my KTM, where if I bin it off-road and I bust up the quick shifter.
So sad.
So sad.
Yeah. I wouldn't know anything about binning expensive bikes off-road. Wouldn't know anything about that. Carlin, are you thinking of getting one of these, the KLX 300s?
I'm considering. So I'm currently 15, and I'm considering getting a motorcycle soon. I bought a junker KDX 200.
Nice.
87. And it has about a 1/4-inch hole in the clutch cover that I patched with JB Weld, and it's holding oil.
That's the beauty of JB Weld on those old bikes, is it'll make it happen.
It'll hold, yeah.
I realize you're paying with carburetors.
Yeah, no, that's the big thing about the KLX 300 is it's fuel injected, and it's cheap.
And it's brand new. It's just going to work.
Mm-hmm. No matter what you want to do to that bike, it'll do it.
Yep.
Pretty much. Except for probably put a turbo on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be a great option for you, man. I kind of wish I'd started riding bikes when I was as young as you. I think you got your head on screwed on straight to get the KLX 300. That'd be a fantastic bike to have fun with and learn a lot with it and just goof around. And I'm sure it'll do wheelies really, really well and easily. So that's a great plus in my book. Yep. All right, man. Well, appreciate you calling. We'll catch you on the Discord.
Yep. Thank you.
See ya. 15 years old. A young buck.
Might be our youngest caller yet.
I think so, yeah. I think a record-breaking youngest caller. The area code 636, which is the Kyle area code now.
The Kyle area code.
I wonder where that is. Got another call coming in. Hey there, you are on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
What can we do for you?
All right, so I just got a quick question. So I've owned probably 9 bikes. They've
Nice.
all been like 3,000 or under, kind of clapped out a little bit. And now my wife gave me the go ahead for the, go buy whatever bike you want, but then that's it. No more bikes. No more talking about it. No more looking for them. Blah blah blah. So now it's like a state of what do you call it? Paralysis by analysis. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's so many bikes to pick, and so right now I'm in between either the Street Bob or the FTR 1200 would be my two, and then there's that Tenere 700. Well, I don't know. Like it's just, how do you pick when you picked your desert sled? How do you know that's the one that you're gonna pick and keep?
Yeah, for me, I've always picked bikes just based on the heart. I know that sounds a little cheesy, but I was really just drawn to the sled when I saw a photo of it. I was like, man, that's a cool looking bike. And then I rode it and I was like, man, this is a nice bike. And I just got it. I really liked it. It's not the best tool for the job of what I use for it, but I still love the crap out of it and it's awesome. So that's kind of just, for me, a bike is right when you get off of it, you look back and you're just like, yeah, that's my motorcycle and it's fucking awesome. That's my only criteria really that I have for bikes. I like to think that I made a good choice because it fits well for what I like to do with it, but ultimately I just really like the bike and that's why I got it. That's why, what do you think?
I mean, so the Harley I bought without knowing. I bought the Street 750. I didn't even know how to ride yet, and that was a mistake. And then I bought the 919, and I was like, this is amazing. I love this motorcycle, but it was broken. It was deeply broken. And then I got the Interceptor because I was like, this is a practical motorcycle. It also looks cool. And then I got very bored with it. And then I almost overanalyzed getting the KTM, and then I just pulled the trigger on it, and every time I get on it, it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
So I want a bike to be fun and stupid and just playful,
Yeah,
and
me too.
I think of the ones that you listed, the FTR is probably going to be the most interesting. The Tenere 700 is going to be the most capable of tackling kind of anything, but the FTR is just so gorgeous, and you could probably take it a little off-road if you wanted.
Man.
That's another one where if you drop it would hurt the soul.
It would hurt the soul. My say would be for the Tenere because it's just a really flexible and usable bike, and the MT-07's engine is awesome. That would be my choice for you.
Yep. Yeah, it's just so many variables because it's like, do I want to go, join a group ride? I don't really want to do that with a Tenere. I think maybe
why not?
The best middle of the road would be the FTR, just because it kind of gives me a pass into the, like a toy run or something. Everybody's got cruises. I don't want to show up on that, because I've had the R6s and I've had Versys, I've had Harley, Sportsters and all that kind of stuff. And an SB650 was my last one. I'm currently sitting on a Sportster right now. So
I think if you showed up to a cruiser a cruiser group ride on the Tenere 700, they'd make fun of you until you got on the gas and left them all in your dust.
Yeah.
They'd all ask you why you bought a dirt bike, because one of my buddies got a KTM 1290 or 1190, and he rode with some Harley guys, and they're like, why'd you get a big dirt bike? And
and then he got on the gas. They're like, oh, that's why you got the big dirt bike.
Yeah, and they just absolutely, and they just flex. They tried to flex harder and harder, and he was like, oh boy, you guys just have no idea.
You have no idea what this is. Yeah.
all right. Hey, that helps.
Yeah. Whatever you end up getting, let us know in the Discord. I'd love to see it because that's quite a wide swath of choices you listed. So let us know.
Yep. All right. I appreciate it, guys.
All right, later, man.
All right.
Yeah, I totally get that, where it's kind of like paralysis by analysis thing. Especially if you can only pick one bike, that's tough because I don't think I could do it. We were talking about today about stables. I was like, I gotta have three at least.
You at least need two.
Yeah. Hey there, Chris. You're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good, man.
What can I do for you?
I've got a couple of things. The first one is that you guys have to stop hating on my bike because I have a CBR 300R.
Oh no.
But that said, I'm really leaning toward replacing it in the spring with a Trident 660. Yeah. And, to kind of play off of what you were saying, looking at a bike and being like, yeah, that's my bike. I felt that way when they released, like, the body in white concept of that bike. It was like, ooh, I got to see what that looks like painted. And I'm excited about it. So the first thing is that I think that it's probably a benefit for somebody like me going in and thinking, okay, maybe I'll buy a Trident, that they have that CPO program, because I think that would be a good way to upgrade within the Triumph family beyond that point. And of course, there won't be any CPOs of that one yet because it's a brand new model.
Yeah, but what you could do is, if the CPO program works for them, you could theoretically get a brand new Trident, which is priced pretty reasonably. I'm sure Triumph will get you some good financing too. You could run that for a year or two and then go back to Triumph, sell your Trident as a CPO, and then pick up a Street Triple or something, a 765, and upgrade from there if you like the triple sport bike thing. Yeah, that could be a cool path for you. Spike, what do you think?
My only thing is, I honestly, the numbers that the Triumph is, the Trident's putting down, and what it's got, that could be potential finisher bike.
I know, right? I mean, I've been thinking about that too, where I'm like, it makes 80 horsepower. That's really not bad. It's pretty good.
It makes 80 horsepower and like 50 foot-pounds of torque, and you get 90% of that at 3,000 RPM.
The only thing I would say, though, is the 765 features fully adjustable suspension.
Yes.
It's got a lot more top end. It's got more rider modes. It's a way better handling bike. It's the actual Daytona chassis. So if you were thinking about track days and stuff like that, I think eventually the Street Triple would be really cool because it can definitely handle that. It remains to be seen whether the Trident could do entry-level track day stuff, but when push comes to shove, it's still a non-adjustable Showa, more of a normal street bike type of thing.
Yeah.
But still a great bike. Like, yeah. I'm super excited to get my hands on one.
That is probably one of the, aside from the 1100, it's my number 2 bike for 2021.
So I say do it. Get the Trident. Ascend from your CB300.
Yes. The thing is, not having any kind of like real adjustability on suspension, I'm not wanting something that's so adjustable that it's like confusing to try to set up.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes you feel better, for my race bike suspension settings, I've had 2 different professionals look at it. I haven't really messed with it myself. I just know what feels good on it, and then they dial it in for me. So I don't really know how to tweak things in and out on it, to be honest. I just like talking to other people to help me set it up. So that could be a path for you too. But
I've got fully adjustable WP Apex suspension on my bike. I got it in July, and I have not touched it once. So it's still on the factory settings.
Yeah.
Okay. Just one other thing. I actually, like, the nearest Triumph dealership for me is about a 2-hour drive. And it's one of those things, I know you've got all the Eurocycle connections, and they're in Las Vegas, where you're in Austin, Texas. So having a dealership that's far away, how big a deal is that?
So I think for a brand new bike, probably not a huge deal, because beyond the first service, one of the cool things about the Trident is Triumph is quoting a 10,000 mile service interval on it anyways. So if you buy it brand new, probably the first 600 miles, you do an oil change, you just run that bike. It's probably not going to have any major things go wrong with it. New bikes are built to a really high specification nowadays, and I'd be surprised if something went wrong with it. Now, this is to say, though, it is the first production year and run of a brand new motorcycle. It might have some weirdness to it. It's not, like some 2 or 3 year old model that they're pulling. It might have, it's a brand new frame. It's a tried and true engine, though. They've been using it for a while. It's slightly detuned 675, so that's probably not going to go wrong. I think he'd be in good shape, but the 2-hour drive does kind of suck. Spy, what do you think?
I mean, it's the first production model year of a Triumph.
They make them better now.
But
they're fine.
My brain is like transmission, electrical problems.
No. You're thinking like Gen 1 Street Triple. It's gotten better. Look, again, if my race bike is fine, that tells you a lot about Triumphs.
Honestly, yes. The fact that thing is still going after what you do to it. That says a lot.
I turn it on, run it at red line for 40 minutes, and then turn it off. That's what it does.
Straight to red line, too. It doesn't even get any chance to warm up.
Nope, not at all. That's what coolant's for.
So it just requires an Italian tune-up.
Absolutely. Well, if you do get the Trident, let us know in the Discord. I'm getting one hopefully here pretty soon. I'm talking to Chris over Eurocycles, trying to line that up. I definitely want to get it as soon as possible. So we're going to have some cool videos coming out about that. So even if you don't get it, you'll see us riding it and checking it out. It's probably going to be as good as everyone's saying it is. Everyone says it's awesome. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll catch you later.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya. Someone in the chat said it's the mid-'80s Jaguar of cycling. That's funny. Yeah, Triumphs are better now, man. They're not...
You're not as coin flippy.
Yeah.
Like you get a Triumph that was built on a Friday and it explodes after 600 miles.
Those are MVs. Even Ducatis are pretty good now. Mm-hmm. Hey there, Christian. You're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Hey, Yam. I don't know if you remember me. I called last week about the dual sport.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I also meant to ask you, but I forgot last week. I had in mind the dual sport or a street, just a street bike.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know where to start. Like I told you, I've been riding for quite a while. I know how to ride a motorcycle and everything, but I've never ridden on the street.
Yeah.
Where do you think where would you think it would be appropriate for me to start? Like on a beginner bike, or do you think with my experience I can handle a bigger bike? Like
I think I think if you've been riding bikes for a while and stuff, and I think if I remember correctly, you rode dirt bikes and stuff for a little bit, some bigger dirt bikes too. I think the 650 class would be a great place to start as well. I think an MT-07 SV650. That's the kind of street bike that I would have personally right now, even as a guy with a lot of street bike experience. It's just a great place to be. Spite, what do you think?
Yeah, my gut was thinking MT-07.
Yeah.
You could also try an SV650. It's a little less punchy up top than the MT-07 is. The MT-07 pulls all the way to the top.
Yeah.
So if you're a little bit more cautious, the SV might be a good place to go. But there's so many options out there nowadays.
Yeah. But I think that 600-700cc range would probably do you just fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bother with a 300 or 400 in your case, since you have a little bit more experience.
I also might look into something that can go off-road, like the T7.
Yeah.
That way you get both. There's a bunch of scramblers out there that can do it both.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wasn't sure, because like I said, I've ridden off-road quite a while. I know, the characteristics of, losing traction.
Mm-hmm.
But, to me, it seems completely different riding street than on-road and off-road.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
It is pretty different, but a lot of the skills you learned off-road will transfer very well to on the street, because on the street, you just have so much traction versus off-road that you have a lot of that slip and slide. On the street, you pretty much have traction everywhere as long as you don't just yeet the throttle mid-corner. You're going to be fine. You have tons of grip. So a lot of the skills you'll learn will be overkill for the street, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And then you just have to remember to lean the opposite way that you do on the dirt, and that's about it.
Yeah. And then one more question for you, Yam. Have you ever looped the KTM off-road?
I've gotten close, but not quite. I've definitely gotten a little zesty with some wheelies, and I almost lost it, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, I've done it quite a bit, so...
Yeah. I think I need to loop it at some point, just to see what it feels like. Mm-hmm. I haven't looped a bike yet.
Just have it come right out from under you.
Dude, that bike in third gear will loop. No problem. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling coming down, seeing your handlebars above you.
Yeah, a bike coming on top of you. You're like, oh, this is going to be a fun day. Yeah. All right, man. Well, best of luck. If you get a dirt bike or a street bike, let us know.
Mm-hmm. Will do.
All right. See ya. Alrighty, guys. That is going to conclude the call-in portion of our podcast. We're going to move over to the meme contest of the week.
Audio only.
Audio only. If you can't watch that, if you can't listen to it, if you're listening to the podcast, go to YouTube.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Starting off the meme contest for today's podcast. We have BMW versus KTM. We've been having fun pitting against manufacturers against each other. Now we're moving over to Europe because we're going to do Europe League and then eventually pit them against Kawasaki, which won the Big Four, and we're going to determine who's the greatest manufacturer of all time, basically, right?
Essentially.
We're not including America because this is Special Olympics over here. It's like whenever we say we're the world champions of football, we're like, yeah, no one else is playing, so yeah.
So our first meme today comes from A Riley 95.
All right.
And it is a Team BMW meme.
I posted this on my Instagram. I really liked it. So it's some wretched looking little like PW50 or something, and it's just like a rattle canned orange. It's KTM. The guy's like, ready to race. I love this one. Yeah, it's super funny.
I mean, this is just this is the kind of thing I'd do if I had a pit bike.
That would be awesome. Like a wretched little 50cc rattle canned orange. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I really, really like this meme. It's simple but effective, you know?
Yeah, so for effectiveness, what would you give it?
I think it's a solid 2.5.
Agreed.
Clowning on the ready to race.
Quality.
You know, it's quite good, I think. It's not a known meme template. It's kind of a new thing. He took 2 images he found, you know, like it's pretty good. It's quite clever, I think, quite creative. So I think a 7 is in order.
All right. And funniness.
Got a good chuckle out of me. 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah,
I agree.
Quite good.
That's a good start. 15.5.
15.5 points for A. Riley. Not too shabby at all.
The next one comes to us from Von Shire, and this is our first KTM meme.
Also, A. Riley is just sad because I didn't sell him my RC390 for $3, which,
he's very sour about that.
Sorry, dude, you're not going to get that. So this one's Team KTM.
But it's Husqvarna. I'm not exactly entirely sure what's going on here. But KTM owns Husqvarna, so...
Yeah, so it's Team KTM says Husqvarna, who did it better? And there's a Husqvarna set of forks.
And this is the 701.
Yeah.
And then this is a Husqvarna from back when I guess they were just Husqvarna.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's going on here. I was quite confused.
Yeah, I don't think I know either.
And this was another one
that's not the front end of a Nuda, is it? No, because that's got like dual sport wheels on it. It's got like a 21.
Yeah.
I don't know what bike that is on the right on the red, so.
It's set, let's see, maybe I can. Does 620 mean anything to you?
No. I don't think I know enough deep KTM lore to understand this meme.
I feel like the effectiveness on this one's a lot lower. But this is definitely the new. This is the 701 for sure.
Someone on chat says back when BMW owned Husky.
I see.
Okay, so on the right it's when BMW owned Husky versus now it's when KTM owns Husky. Got it.
Thank you for explaining the meme in stream.
Thank you, Nuke Frywalker. Great name for explaining that to us humble meme servants here. So with that in mind, it's basically saying that KTM is doing a much better job with Husqvarna than BMW did, which I can't deny. But at the same time, Husqvarnas are basically just KTMs.
Yeah.
They're not, I mean, it's kind of unfair to be like they're making better Huskies because they're just KTMs with blue.
Yep.
Right?
I mean, it's really shocking when you go into a KTM dealership and you put the 701 Enduro next to the 690 Enduro. Literally the same except for the seat. The Husky seat has this like wide thing at the front.
Yeah.
And everything else is the same. Although they do make the LR, which is literally just the 701 long range with a massive tank.
Interesting.
Which,
okay.
You know, there's that.
Yeah.
But
okay.
So effectiveness here. This still was quite confusing to me.
A little confused. I think 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
Quality.
What do you think, a 4?
Yeah, like a 4 or 5.
4? Yeah, let's do the 4.
Funniness? Not very funny.
Not funny. Maybe because we're not advanced enough to understand, but for our understanding today, I think like a 2.
A 2.
Didn't really laugh. Went from 15.5 to a 6. Highs and lows here on the Yamcast.
Next one comes to us from Don Period Keyballs. You're still not going to get me. This one I actually really like.
So it's an actual picture of riding a KTM 1290 Super Adventure R off-road for the first time. It's a guy just bursting a bubble that says ego. Yeah, accurate. You have to have so much skill to actually ride one of those off-road, man.
Oh my God, man. Just spending any time with the Super Duke, I can't imagine what that would be in a low grip environment.
Yeah.
That's
can you imagine? Like, that engine, that setup on a big adventure bike.
Off-road.
No.
No,
I'll happily admit on the Yamcast right now, I'm not man enough to do that.
Nope.
I'm not good enough.
That is not my world.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's cool. As a touring bike, fucking cool. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Just get the S
off-road
version.
Yeah. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, effectiveness here for the BMW meme.
I think a 2 is in order.
A 2. Quality.
I think a 5.5 or a 6, maybe?
I think a 5.5 is
5.5 is good.
Funniness?
Pretty funny. How about a 7?
A 7.
Yeah.
12.5.
Loving our halves today.
Yep. Now we got Sean 7, another BMW meme.
BMW might take it, yeah.
BMW is going to take it.
So we got here Team BMW. Are you sure this is a Team BMW? Oh,
Yep.
yeah, because, it says, born and bred to win the most grueling race in the world, the Dakar Rally. You got a big KTM adventure bike being wheelied in a sand dune over there. And then on the right it says, the closest it will ever get is some dude just trundling along. Fucking accurate, dude. I mean, it's so true.
The only problem is you can say the exact same thing about the R1250 GS.
That's exactly why whenever I saw this BMW meme, I was like, can you
Is
just
it
say
really?
the same thing
Yeah.
about a BMW? Because you can.
Yep.
Yeah, you can literally say the same thing.
So I think...
But, well, can we though? Does BMW race the R1250 GS in Dakar and that kind of stuff?
I don't think so, no.
I think the closest they get is they do the GS rally in Thailand or something like that. They do like a big rally thing. That's not like a race.
But that's just, that's they hang out and do their own thing.
Yeah, it's a very BMW way of approaching it, yeah.
We can't win anywhere else, so we'll make our own event.
Yeah. I do think that's quite funny though when people try to tell me that the S1000RR is like this amazing race bike and all that. I'm like, where is it at in WSBK? Where is BMW at in GP? Where's BMW's middleweight race bike? They don't have shit. Fuck you, BMW. Where's your race bike now, bro?
BMW should replace Aprilia and GP. See if they can do any better.
Honestly, you can't do much worse. I love the fact that at Aprilia, they had an open... If we can talk about GP for just 2 minutes here at the end of the Yamcast. I love that at Aprilia, they had an open seat in GP and they couldn't fill it. They asked 4 Moto2 riders and all of them said, no thanks, we're good. They offered up 4 people the chance to race in the highest level in the world. And they were like, on an Aprilia? Nah, dog, I'm good. I'm not going.
I'll just stay on the 600.
I'll just stay in Moto2. I'm fine. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think they had to get who's that guy? It's some Salvadori. I don't remember who they put in the seat, but I think he was like a test rider. They're like, fuck it, you get in there.
Salvadori, I believe, crashed out in the last 2 races.
That makes
if I'm not
sense.
mistaken.
Yeah.
So
I think you say the same for Fabio. Fabio, why? Please, Fabio, don't disappoint me. It's hard being a Fabio fan, man.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's going to be real hard.
Do you know he finished 8th in the World Championship? Mm-hmm. Morbidelli he finished 2nd.
Mm-hmm. On last year's bike.
Yeah, on a 1,600-mile engine. Whatever, This isn't a GP podcast as much as I'd like it to be. Anyways, so let's talk about the effectiveness on this one. I think because you can say basically the same thing for BMW, because what it's saying is like, it's a hardcore off-road bike and people just trundle off-road. I think this is like a 1.5 for effectiveness.
Yeah, I was thinking like a 1.
Let's do a 1 because, it's... Yeah.
Because you can say literally the same thing about the R1250.
You can.
Quality.
I think a 5. It's right down the middle.
Yep.
You know?
And funniness.
I think a 6. Pretty
6.
funny. Got a good chuckle out of me.
11. Number 3. Next one comes to us from Greeny, who I saw in Discord is not sure if it's a BMW meme or not. I thought it was a BMW meme. If it's not a BMW meme, why did you do the Drake thing with the BMW in the bottom?
Okay, so we got Drake, sidestepping the typical BMW guy going on a day trip, and then he says what the right move is, and it's some super loaded up adventure bike. What is that? Is that a KTM though?
This is a KTM up top, and that's a BMW that's pack muled out.
And he's saying that that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't know if it was a BMW meme or not.
Yeah, because I put it in a
right.
I called it a BMW meme.
Then that is going to be our first 0 for effectiveness. If the creator of the meme doesn't even know what team he's on, you got to know what team you're rooting for here.
Because usually we can tell.
Yeah, usually we can tell what's going on.
Because you got Drake saying no to the KTM.
Yeah.
And he's saying yes to the stupidly loaded out BMW.
Maybe he's saying that BMW is more capable of bringing more stuff?
Or maybe that like BMW boys are silly for doing that?
Again, if we have to ask this many questions, it's not an effective meme.
Yep.
It should be immediately apparent to us what is happening. So I think a 0 is in order here, unfortunately.
Yep, that is a completely ineffective meme.
God, when you put it that way.
It had no effect.
You abject failure.
So, funniness, though.
Like a 5?
Yeah, I feel like, for quality.
Oh, quality. I think a 5 as well for quality. I think it's a 5 and 5. Yeah,
right middle of the road.
Yeah,
so that would be 10 for that meme. Next one comes to us from Matthew DFW, and I have it in here, but it's gigantic. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and open the picture because that'll be easier to show.
Wow.
Yeah, it's another one of these real big ones.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. This is excellent. All right, so we have sort of a starter pack meme, which I love. On the left here is BMW, right? Mm-hmm. So we got BMW. It says R1200 GS series, exclusively seen parked outside the major coffee chain at the edge of the city, implying travel to and from city. But in reality, they just went to that location because the baristas know them by name, and it's the one closest to their house. There's a book that says Alone in the Wild, read survival books, The Drip, you have the High Vis, which Whitney, if you're watching the end of this, High Vis is lame as hell. Whitney's our newest member here, and she wears High Vis, and I clown her for it every time she's wearing it. It says, annoyingly dominates group conversation with talk about engineering, organic food, or how much vacation time they have at work. It says, no ADV friends has to ride with cruiser bros or sport boys.
Have you seen The Long Way Round?
Yeah, always talking about some BS about tire pressures. Mysteriously has large wealth. Daily drives a Corolla because it has heat. Failed the MSF first try. Won't tell anyone. It's a boxer. Quote. I love the watch over here. The
Look
nerdy.
at the boxes on the back of this bike.
Yes.
That's great.
That is awesome.
And so here is what our KTM is.
Yeah, it says what a motherfucker looks like. It's just some Kyle with a Monster Energy hat. And straight up, this is what every KTM dude looks like.
Yes,
just
absolutely.
some hardcore off-road dude. Mm-hmm. You got is that the Adventure 790, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great bike. Always friendly. We'll stop by to help you right your bike. Camping trip packlist is just Jack Daniels, fucking flip-flops, and Monster Energy.
And a fuel filter.
The fuel filter is the KTM little one right there. It says, stupidly proficient off-road, but manages to drop the bike every other stop. Knows everyone in town that rides a motorcycle. Says, either a clapped out 990 adventure bike with thousands of miles or one of the off-road, off the showroom floor 1290 Super Adventure with all the kit, not even the...
first oil change.
Not even to its first oil change. That is very true. Yeah, I feel like KTM guys, they swap out bikes every year, it seems. They're just like, oh, they got a new 890. I have to go get that one. Like, KTM's got them on on the IV drip, you know?
Yeah, they for some reason, they really got these guys, ready to go.
Yeah, ready to race.
Ready to race.
To the dealership to buy your power parts.
They got a new catalog, don't you know?
Yeah.
So this is a solid meme.
This was awesome. Super high end for basically painting the picture that, as we mentioned here on Yammie Noob, no nerds, and BMW guys are nerds, and KTM guys are real chads.
All right, so for effectiveness on this one,
I think a 3. It's telling a good, cohesive story.
Quality.
High qual, man. A lot of effort went into this. It's your classic starter pack meme. You love to see it. Really highly well done, executed, thought about, I think a 9 is in order. It's a high quality meme.
Funniness.
That was pretty funny. High. Pretty funny. I think an 8 is in order. For
Agreed. Sure. Which that is now their number one meme.
17. And with a 3 with effectiveness means that KTM is edging its way back above BMW. BMW only has this one chance to get it right, but KTM might take it. So let's see what's happening here.
Please, dear God, KTM, take it.
Come on, KTM. Don't let BMW beat you.
All right. So moving on, we have our next one from Light Hollywood. Why a BMW? Best mega dank wheelies.
Okay.
With some dude just chilling next to an S1000RR.
All right. Well, I don't think that's accurate, right?
No, I feel like that's lies. If you want
I
Megadank
think they have
meters-
wheelie control, so by definition, you can't pop Megadank wheelies with the BMW unless you fiddle with some buttons on the little spaceship computer on the machine. God.
No nerds.
No nerds! You got a fucking 7-inch TFT dash on your superbike, you're a fucking nerd! Get a real bike!
Gixxer 1000,
It's
baby.
1000, bro! LCD screen is all you need!
Just like the GP bike.
Just like the GP bike. It's cheaper, too. Goes just as good. Oh, man.
So, effectiveness here.
I think a 1, unfortunately. Well, 1.5. Because, well, no, because it's not even dogging on KTM. It's just saying best Megadank wheelies for BMW.
And KTM just definitely does better wheelies.
Objectively, KTM are better wheelie machines than any BMW.
Yes.
Any of them, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, all they do is sell dirt bikes that do fat woolies. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. That's all they do.
Even their street bikes are just dirt bikes with big engines in them.
Yeah, the Duke 390. That was a little wheelie machine. It was their beginner bike. Mm-hmm. Nah, I think a 1 tops, right? Like,
yeah. I think this is a 1.
Yeah.
Now we got quality. It's pretty basic.
Yeah, kind of low qual. I think a 3.
A 3. Funniness?
I think also like a 3. I mean, maybe a 2, honestly.
If we make a joke out of it.
Yeah, that
That's
means
not a
we
good
had to
sign.
try, yeah. So I think a 2, unfortunately.
So that's a 5.
Sorry, Light Hollywood. Man, we're close here. 6.5 to BMW, 4.5 to KTM. We have to run off on quality and see which one was better.
Yup. So now we've got monochrome. This one, you're going to like this one. So a little short video here.
So monochrome is saying here over here, it says Team KTM, it says makes quality entry-level street and track bikes. And then BMW says puts the premium and premium mediocre. Damn.
Savage.
It's not wrong though, man.
Yep, absolutely right.
It's not wrong.
It's an
Yeah.
expensive bike that's just not as good as the rest of them.
Especially looking at these two, the G310 R, right? Versus
the G310R.
R versus the KTM Duke 390. I mean, there's no comparison.
Yeah, the 390 just dunks all over it.
Dunks all over it. Way better bike. Yeah, that's fair.
I saw there's a G310R that parks downtown, and I see it all the time, and it is the most, like, you can see just straight through it. Like, it's so tiny and so just doesn't feel like a very substantial motorcycle, and it costs a substantial amount.
Yeah.
So
It's more expensive than the Svartpill and 401, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but premium and premium mediocre.
Yep. I like that.
So effectiveness here.
This is tough because I see the final score.
Yep.
And I know that for me, I think my gut says it's a 2.
A 2.
I think it's a 2, which is going to give us a
runoff.
A runoff
for the
here.
team
So
score.
for the team score, we don't know yet. We'll have to figure that out in a bit. So let's give it a 2.
Quality. For this one.
Quality. It's, it was a video. It was interesting. It was a video turned into a picture meme, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yep.
So that increases the quality a little bit, but it is just 2 photos and 2 text
words.
boxes and some words. I think a 5.5 is in order.
Yeah. Somebody's saying fake news about the G310 not being as good as the Duke, I assume.
Nah.
That's just wrong.
Wrong.
Funniness, though. I feel like this is a little bit funnier.
Yeah, pretty funny. 7?
7.
I think. That's fair.
Which puts this at a 12.5, which is outside the points. We have first place going to Matthew DFW, who has, I believe, taken first before, like long time ago. And second goes to A. Riley. And third will go to Don Period Key Balls.
No, he's tied with the last one, right? 12.5?
Yes, I am sorry. So monochrome versus Don Period Key Balls. Let me check and see if he won last week really fast.
Sure.
Let's just take a second. I have my podcast winner sheet. Nope, he was outside the points last week, so he is eligible to partake in this little runoff here.
All right.
So we got 2 runoffs to deal with. Let's do our third place runoff first.
Yeah, so this last one was the monochrome one. Okay, so we know that one. Remind me again the donkey balls one.
Donkey balls. This one.
Oh, this is tough.
I laughed harder at this one. I got to admit.
I did too. Yeah, I think he takes third.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is third to Donkey Balls.
Based on funniness, we thought it was funnier.
Yes.
But now we have to figure out BMW versus KTM. I think the best way to do this would be do BMW quality versus KTM quality.
Okay.
Of memes, and then maybe quality and funniness. What's the total combined score for both?
Well, let's find out.
We just do a quick little sum if, right?
0.5.
There was only 3 KTM memes? 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I guess if that's the metric we're going off, because that has to be our runoff, right?
Would just the total points, the total individual points, yeah, it would be.
I suppose
to BMW.
Yeah. As much as it pains me to say it,
this is
as
the
a
first
KTM
time,
owner.
Yeah, as KTM owners both.
Yeah.
And BMW deriders both.
Yeah. Loop TJ on stream says to average them. That could be interesting as well, since we had more entrants for BMW.
So see what the average score is across BMW.
Yeah, that could be a way too, because we did have more BMW entries, so naturally it's going to be weighted more. So we could do averages.
This divided by 5 for the 5 KTMs.
Yeah.
And that would be 10.8.
Yeah.
And this is...
That'll just be divided by 3, right?
Equals this divided by 3, which I believe is going to be higher.
Yes, that would be 10.
Whoops. That's the wrong. Is equals that divided by, that helps, 3. So that is 11.83 across the board.
And that makes more sense because...
that means the average quality
of the memes was higher, because if we just take the pure sum of them, we would just say that if you just had a bunch of crappy memes, it would be better than KTM, which isn't necessarily true.
Yeah.
If we're doing off quality of the memes created, because we had a similar effectiveness for both of them, and the quality on average of the KTM submitted were better than the BMW.
Yes.
I like how we managed to finagle our ways to KTM winning.
But this does make sense.
It does make sense. We're not playing favorites here. This actually does make sense. We're taking the average number of the quality of the memes sent in, as opposed to the total volume of them, which makes more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would mean that KTM is going to fight the winner of Triumph versus Ducati, which is genuinely a toss-up, and I don't know who's going to come out of that one.
I have no clue who's going to come out. I have a feeling it's going to be Ducati.
I think so too. I think the question though is it's really easy to make fun of Ducati boys.
Yeah.
Really easy to do. So
it's also easy to make fun of Triumph too, though.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
I think next week we're going to have a real good dust up. And then honestly, I don't think KTM is going to be able to throw down against the other one necessarily.
No, I don't think so, yeah.
So we're going to have to see what happens, but that will
I would love to imagine a world in which KTM has to go up against Kawasaki and we determine who is the true Kyle.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. which one just is truer to the Monster Energy roots?
Yes. Yeah.
Team Green or Team Orange?
We'd have to know one way or another. But thank you so much for tuning in to another Yamcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you want to join up on the live streams for these and hang out with us, you can always go to the link down below to yammie.co and find out how to enter up for the Discord. We'll catch you on the next one. See you later. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Why don't you click this one right over here and you can keep watching some more of your sweet Papa Yam. Maybe this one will have fun memes in it. Maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe I crash a motorcycle. Who can say? Maybe you should click and find out.